Heyo, Blackman here. So we're doing another video, back-to-back days. Repping rah wear. I got my plaid hat on backwards because of lighting constraints. So I just finished a book, and to be fair, this is my second time through it. This book's called Armored, and I just realized that there is a sequel to the book. So I don't remember. My thought process is like somebody suggested the book to me a while back, and I read it and I enjoyed it, and I was like, cool, this is good, and it kept resonating in my head. Like I kept playing it back, and to me that's indicative of, if not a classic, it's just something that's of good quality. If it resonates in your head, there's things about it that clicked, that hit, that you liked, so on and so forth. Like Lord of the Rings is a good example. A lot of people. Well, some people still reference The Matrix. I think it's a classic, just by its very bravado. But there's a lot that has changed now. It's kind of weird when you get people who don't consume the classics, and then they're just like, "Oh, what are you talking about? I've not seen Star Wars." And it's like, how do you not see Star Wars? And you realize, like, well, they were born post Star Wars, so it's not real to them that like it's an important thing. My wife is one of those people. She was born around Star Wars, but her parents aren't really movie people, so Star Wars was not like a go-to thing, whereas my family movie watching was, and Star Wars was, so it's like obligatory viewing. Anyways, so fast forward a little bit. So I read the book, thought it was cool, and then I was talking to one of my mentors, and one thing led to another, and we're talking about stuff, and somehow I found out that they're going to make a movie about this book, a movie from this book, and Michael Bay is going to be involved as like a producer, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to get back in the game really bad, like, oh my god. And he's like, okay, well, here's some things that you need to do to get back into it. And I'm dealing with a lot of stuff on my end on like transitioning from working a normal job to like taking care of my son full time. I have to handle some problems that I have on my end. Like I smoke cigarettes and I drink, and both those things need to be like brought to like basically quit smoking and limit the drinking to a certain amount, so that it's good for me to be able to take over as dad full time. Now, full disclosure, it isn't that I couldn't comfortably take over taking care of my kid full time. I'm very capable of doing that. I have no issue with doing that. But there's kind of like an unspoken understanding that I've come to that like, hey, if it was reversed, if I had somebody watching my kid, what would I want them to be? I wouldn't want them to be a smoker. And it's like, well, okay, so then you shouldn't be smoking if you're going to watch your own kid. Like, you wouldn't want to hire a smoker for the same reasons, so duh. So anyways, sorry, that's a whole neither here nor there, and not what we're here for. We're here to just talk about the Armored book, and the hopeful potential movie. So I reread the book, right? By read, I'm saying audiobook, listening to it. And I can chew through these things pretty quickly. So I chewed through it, and there's even another one, and I haven't listened to it yet, so sorry. So I've listened to the Armored book by Mark Rini. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I've listened to it twice now. There's apparently a fancy one, which is condensed, and they have numerous actors, and it's like a whole production. So instead of like 12 or 16 hours, or however long it is, it's like 5 hours in audio time. And that's on my to-do list to like listen to that, just to kind of get a sense. But it was interesting. I was thinking about writing it, and I went on this like ChatGPT rant for a minute of like, who owns the rights to this book, or who owns the right to this book? Because in my head, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make my way by like, I'll pen this thing and I'll worm my way in and be like, look, I have this epic script for your book, and like, we need to make it happen. That's not how Hollywood works, by the way. Like maybe, but not normally. That's just not how they operate. Hollywood's a very weird, complicated thing. I'm watching a show about it, which I'd suggest as a side note. I'll do a separate review about it once I've finished watching it. It's called The Studio. But yeah, Hollywood doesn't operate like that. Hollywood is a very confusing mess, and it's just like, it's a wonder that they're still around, and they're trying to figure out how to stay around, and so it's kind of funny in that way. Anyways, so effectively what this book is about is you have this guy who was in the military for a bit, for 4 years, and then he left and became a private military contractor, so a merc, if you will, and then he went and did that, and then he was doing that very successfully. He had a wife, he had a kid, and then he had this really shitty situation happen when he was on a thing, and they were like, you know what? His people were like, hey, you're on your own type of thing. I'm not trying to spoil it. And he made a decision, and then they kind of like, because of the decision he made, which was the right decision, they're like, it's up to you. That's on you. And they didn't pay for his medical bills. And at the end result of it, he was left without a leg. Like, he's missing a leg. So it's a couple years afterwards now, and he's working as like the head of security for a mall. So a mall cop, but you know, whatever. And his wife's working as, she's a cleaning lady. She's got a small business that does cleaning stuff. And they're struggling. They got 2 young kids, and they're struggling to kind of make ends meet. They're not poor, but they're not living great. And he's sad because he used to be making like $200K a year, and now he's making like 50, 60 a year, and his family's struggling. And for any dude, that sucks. Plus he's missing his leg, and that's a whole other thing. Then he gets this kind of like out there like opportunity to make 35K in like 3 weeks, going to Mexico to do this armored truck run from point A to point B, you know, deliver his people through this very nasty bit of Mexico. Basically go up to meet up with some cartel people and wager a deal, like make a deal carrying UN people, and then afterwards drive out of there, have a couple chats, and then they're good. That's it. And it pays a boatload of money every day, net result being him making a bunch of money. And he finds out about this through somebody who just kind of came out of nowhere. And he's like, yeah, and he kind of just commits himself to it. He goes and does the interview, and he does it. And the reason why he gets away with getting the job in the first place, despite missing a leg, is because they don't even have a time to do a physical. And a physical, they would check to see if he has a leg and an arm and things like that. So he kind of like sneaks in. And then as soon as things start, it goes sideways really fast, really quickly, and goes from being a hairy operation to like, what the heck? And it just goes from hairy to bad to worse to oh my effing goodness. And I will say the book takes a while to kind of build up to it. And I have read better books that like kind of pile on or do a really good job of the world building and stuff like that, and seem to fit so much into so little. But in a weird way, I kind of enjoyed this book because it was a bit stripped back, and you are kind of dealing with some fundamental things in modern times when it comes to how you like leadership roles and responsibility and doing right regardless of the money, and kind of the fundamental things that we should know and have understood. But it's really important to reinforce that, like, look, he took the job for money, for the right reason, but he shouldn't have taken the job. And he lives with that and suffers the consequences of that, realizing, like, I was not thinking with my head, I was thinking with my wallet and the well-being of my family. But it is a reinforcement of, like, hey, there are people, good people, who will step up for that. And what's even better is the character of this guy. The character's name is Mike Duffy, and how he keeps insisting on doing the right thing, even if it means potentially bad things for him. And to me, that's a character. Effectively a character book. It's an action story. It's not too dissimilar from reading like one of the Reacher novels. And I haven't read any of the other novels from this guy. I'm liking this. There's a sequel to this one. I'm going to read that. This author apparently also wrote the Gray Man series. I'm going to start that and check that out. It's on my to-do list. Got to catch up with some other stuff first. But yeah, in general, I would suggest reading the book. It's a fun read. Like, it's just a fun simple read. It's not immensely complicated or you know, there's not a whole lot to it. It's just good. It's just a good time. So yeah, I just want to suggest that to you. Check out Armored. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Apparently there's going to be a movie about it. I'm going to do what I can to get in on that movie. I got wheels in motion. I have things that I'm like, okay, I need to start doing this and losing weight, and what character can, maybe I can be this character or whatever. We'll figure it out. Hopefully I'm in it, because I would really like to be in it. Because I'd like to get back in the industry, but, you know, kind of put my hand in without being like soaked in it. But we'll see. All right, guys. That's it for now. Plaidman out. I love you. And yeah, we are switching it. We're seeing how it works. So yeah, hope you like it. Enjoy. Talk to you later. Bye.